In ape shape, just coming to you, going to break down what I like to do for a good warm-up. I always start with my core. It's my foundation. It's essentially the primary goal for my core muscles are to stabilize and brace my spine, not to bend and flex it, so that essentially I can produce more power through my arms and legs if my base or my spine is stabilized. Thereafter, sports applicable, I might bend and flex and do some exercises in that regard. But first off, we want a good solid foundation. So I like to start with basic stabilizing exercises and around the world planks. I want to make sure every side is pretty equal. So I'm going to start with a front plank, then go to a side plank, then what I call a haggler, then a left side plank. So I'm contracting my elbows towards my knees, really squeezing my abs. Again, a lot of times people just think of your core as your abs, your obliques, and maybe your lower back muscles, but truly there are 47 muscles that attach to the spine, and all of them have to be relatively balanced within regards to strength, so that we for sure can stabilize the spine either way, whichever directional force is thrown upon us. So that's very, very important. So I always want to start with my core first. I like to warm it up, use that as my primary, make sure that I'm getting it at its most rested point. Like building a house, we're limited on how well we can build this house based on the stability and strength of our foundation. Now, a lot of times people will feel in a side plank, they might feel this in their shoulder a lot. What they need to do is make sure that they're not completely 180 degrees from their shoulder. There should be a little bit of a decline down so that it creates space between that shoulder girdle and my humerus. So I don't want to, if I'm straight up, I'm going to close that gap. So it's very important. And I want to make sure and breathe. But what I do with this hands, I usually just hold it up. Some people lay it on the side, but I tend to push or want to push. If this is tough, some people will even brace a little bit right here. I try not to because then it pulls my shoulder out of alignment. Next is a haggler. Legs straight, arms straight, nothing quite touching. Keep my head on the mat. And as I move my limbs, my spine has to stabilize. Really specifically around my coccyx, my hip girdle, hip flexors, glutes, everything need to be relatively stable to ensure that I don't get too dramatic of a pelvic tilt. If you hear or feel a lot of popping and cracking when you first start this, it's probably a good indicator you have a little strength and balance. And you're not meant to go fast. You can go this nice steady pace, but you don't want to flop. And again, everything straight. I don't want to be leaning. I don't want to be overextended. I want to try to get everything nice and straight. Really important in planks, what I love about them is it works my muscles as a chain. My whole core system is engaged, as well as my legs, my upper body a little bit. Everything has to work together. That's kind of the importance, especially when we're talking athleticism. If you're an athlete, you want to teach those muscles to work together. And if you train individually, upper body day, lower body day, leg day, whatever, then potentially those muscles don't learn to stabilize and work together. So that's kind of important. So that's typically what I do. I'll usually do around 2 to 3 rotations of that. It takes you anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes with breaks in between. Don't necessarily have to hold it for the whole minute if you can't do that at first. Take your time to, maybe if you're just going up and down and almost kind of repping it out, that works pretty good. Try to hold it for as long as possible, but up to a minute. Right after that point, it's more muscle endurance and not strength, and that's primarily what we want. Is we want a strong core. A good muscular endurance core is good, but ultimately the primary thing we want to make sure of is that we have a good, solid, stable, and strong core first. So again, thanks for joining me at Ape Shape. If you have any questions, hit me up. Add comments on this. If you've got any questions, we'll add to it. Thanks.